Sometimes things are too big to handle on your own, even for the most powerful people in the universe. Today we are counting down the best of the best when it comes to Marvel team-ups and teamwork. Number 10. The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. I really wanted to start us off strong today. The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants is one of Marvel's most notorious supervillain teams, primarily dedicated to advancing mutant supremacy over humans at any cost. Founded and most famously led by Magneto, the master of magnetism, the Brotherhood has included some of the most powerful and iconic mutants in Marvel Comics, such as Mystique, Toad, Pyro, Mastermind, Quicksilver, and the Scarlet Witch, even though those last two are technically not mutants anymore. Their power comes not just from their individual abilities, like Scarlet Witch's reality warping magic or Quicksilver's super speed, but also from their willingness to use extreme measures, making them a dangerous opponent for the X-Men. Just because Magneto is the most famous leader doesn't mean he was the only leader. Mastermind, Mystique, other Magneto clones and such, and even Toad once took the helm. A major event that did rock the Brotherhood was when Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, who were Magneto's children at the time, eventually left that Brotherhood to join the Avengers because honestly I don't think they ever really wanted to be evil in the first place. The Brotherhood have appeared across X-Men media, from the animated series to the movies, cementing their place as Magneto's primary allies and the X-Men's main rivals throughout Marvel history. Number 9. Alpha Flight. I know this is like nepotism because I am Canadian. What about it? Alpha Flight is Canada's not-so-secret weapon, renowned for its diverse roster and impressive array of powers. Originally organized under the Canadian government's top-secret Department H, Alpha Flight was founded by team leader Guardian, the superhero whose suit is literally the Canadian flag. Love him. The team's classic lineup includes heavy hitters like North Star and Aurora, mutant twins with super speed and photokinetic abilities. Then we have Sasquatch, who possesses immense strength and can transform into, and you'll never guess, a Sasquatch. Snowbird, an Arctic demigoddess who can shapeshift into the northern animals. Shaman, a mystical healer and sorcerer. At one point Wolverine was also on the team because he's like a Canadian king. And of course there's dozens of other Canadian heroes that have joined the ranks throughout the years. Alpha Flight has faced threats ranging from mystical entities to cosmic dangers and even clashed with the X-Men. The team has repeatedly reformed, sometimes operating independently from the government and even working covertly to protect Canadian mutants during times of crisis. Their legacy as defenders of the True North makes them one of Marvel's most unique and powerful teams. Number 8. The Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family, debuted in 1961 and quickly became one of their most loved and famous teams. Made up of 4 members who gained their unique powers after being exposed to cosmic rays during a space mission. Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, stretches his body and mind. Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, can turn invisible and create powerful force fields. Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, ignites himself, flies, and controls fire. And Ben Grimm, the Thing, possesses immense strength and a nearly indestructible exterior. Reed might have led the team in the traditional sense, but they all have a part to play. He's the unparalleled genius. Sue is often the emotional anchor that's holding everyone together. Ben is a literal rock that they can all lean on, and Johnny is, as the First Steps trailer put it, Johnny, so fun and bright. The Fantastic Four are renowned for their versatility and power, having faced threats ranging from Doctor Doom to cosmic entities like Galactus. Fun fact, over the years the roster has featured other heroes like She-Hulk and even Black Panther, but the original 4 remain iconic for their groundbreaking adventures and close-knit relationship. Also, 2 members of the Fantastic Four, Reed and Sue, created one of my personal favorite characters and more importantly one of the most powerful beings in the universe, Franklin Richards. Number 7. The Champions. In 2016, Marvel created a whole new superhero team for all of their young heroes, the Champions, a dynamic group who banded together after the events of Marvel Civil War II, seeking to create a better world with a fresh, idealistic perspective. The team features members like Miss Marvel, Miles Morales, Sam Alexander's Nova, Vision, Ironheart, and the Wasp or Nadia Van Dyne, each bringing unique abilities such as super strength, advanced technology, flight, and energy manipulation. Miss Marvel is recognized as the team's leader, guiding the group with her compassion and strong moral compass. The Champions are celebrated for their teamwork, their youthful energy, and commitment to justice, making them a standout among Marvel's superhero teams. They are still operating and continue to accept new members as the Marvel Universe expands every single year. Number 6. Big Hero 6. Technically, some of the other teams, they rank more powerful than this one, but I really wanted to put them in place number 6 for obvious reasons. Big Hero 6 were a Marvel Comics superhero team before they were a Disney film, and the two teams couldn't be more like the same but different if they tried. When Disney decided to adapt the Marvel team for animation, they certainly Disneyified things, made it more PG-13. The characters retained their names and similar powers, but in the movie, the heroes got their powers from their super suits, whereas in the comics, that wasn't always the case. Like Fred in the movie, he has that monster suit, but in the comics, he literally just turns into Godzilla. Honey Lemon in the movie, she has a science bag that makes weapons from chemical formulas. Comics, a Mary Poppins purse connected to an unknown dimension where she pulls anything she wants. But the biggest difference was arguably the star of the movie. The Baymax that the public knows is completely different from the original. The soft, gentle giant that Disney created was originally a Transformer-looking bodyguard. Like, I'm talking ability to shift into various battle forms kind of robot. A far cry from the marshmallow that audiences remember from the big screen. In comic, Baymax was built to protect Hero after the passing of his father and was loaded with his father's memories and emotions, so he did still fill that familial void like the movie also explored. Number 5, the Guardians of the Galaxy. You have to be powerful if you're going to be out here protecting the whole galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy are a formidable team of cosmic heroes in the Marvel Universe, known for their blend of cosmic power, resourcefulness, and most importantly, humor. Originally assembled by Star-Lord, who serves as the team's charismatic and tactical leader, the Guardians include powerful members such as Gamora, Drax the Destroyer, Rocket Raccoon, and Groot, each bringing unique abilities to the group. Their combined strengths allow them to take on threats that other superheroes might have struggled with, including cosmic entities and galactic warlords. The team started as a ragtag group of outlaws but quickly became widely loved and sometimes respected heroes, and their roster has expanded over time to include characters like Captain Marvel, Iron Man, and Adam Warlock. Despite their differences and frequent bickering, the Guardians' ability to unite for the greater good is what makes them one of Marvel's most beloved and powerful teams. Number 4, Marvel's Illuminati. Marvel's Illuminati was a fun addition to Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. It's a shame their appearance was short-lived because they are way cooler in the comics. A secretive and exceptionally powerful team composed of some of the most influential heroes in the Marvel Universe. The original core members included Mr. Fantastic, who often acted as the leader, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Professor X, Black Bolt, and Namor. Each member represents a unique facet of the superhuman world: science, magic, mutants, royalty, and of course more, making their collective knowledge, abilities, and societal pull nearly unparalleled. The group operates covertly, shaping major events from behind the scenes and keeping their existence hidden even from their closest allies and families. They had pivotal roles in storylines like World War Hulk. They were the ones that were responsible for putting him in that spaceship and launching him into space. Over time, other notable heroes like Black Panther, Captain America, and even Medusa have joined their ranks, reflecting the team's evolving mission and immense influence. Number 3, the Eternals. You would never guess it from the movie that we got, but the Eternals, they are really cool and widely loved and really powerful. They were created by the Celestials as an offshoot of humanity endowed with cosmic energy. Each Eternal possesses a broad range of abilities, including super strength, flight, telepathy, telekinesis, matter manipulation, and the ability to heal and regenerate from pretty much any injury, making them practically immortal, except for when they fly themselves into the sun. Well, all Eternals share these core powers. Each member specializes in a particular ability. Icarus is known for his flight and cosmic optic blasts, Cersei can manipulate matter at an atomic level, Athena controls weapons, Makari has super speed, and Druid controls minds, among others. In the comics, Ajak is traditionally serving as the team's leader, acting as a communicator with the Celestials and guiding the group in their mission to protect humanity from their ancient enemies, the Deviants. The Eternals have the ability as well to merge their powers and consciousness into a single, immensely powerful entity called the Unimind, which that amplifies their abilities to extraordinary levels and sets them apart as one of the most powerful teams in the Marvel Universe, and one that I personally think should have gotten a TV show instead of a movie. Number 2, the X-Men. I know you were waiting for them. The X-Men are powerful, iconic, and numerous. Made up of mutants, each member possesses unique abilities that set them apart from ordinary humans. Founded and traditionally led by Professor X, the team's mission is to protect a world that often fears and hates them, while striving for peaceful coexistence between mutants and humans. The X-Men are also a team in which some of the most powerful people alive have joined, like the Scarlet Witch and Jean Grey, who is more powerful than the Scarlet Witch. Don't worry, I learned my lesson there. The rest of the roster includes some of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, such as Storm, an Omega-level mutant capable of manipulating weather on a planetary scale. And we have Wolverine, famous for his healing factor and adamantium claws, and of course Cyclops, another key leader, known not only for his devastating optic blasts, but also for his tactical genius. He can calculate angles in his head to ricochet his blasts off surfaces and hit multiple targets. Over the years, years, the X-Men have faced threats from both mutant and human adversaries, and their diverse powers have repeatedly saved the world, making them one of Marvel's most enduring and influential teams. And finally, number 1, the Avengers, and also 4 E's, any team that has Avenger in the title. The Avengers take the top spot because anyone can be an Avenger, and almost everyone has been one. They've beat out the X-Men on the fact that all X-Men could technically be an Avenger, but not all Avengers can be X-Men. This team is just open to more potential, powerful beings throughout the universe. Over the decades, the Avengers have had literally hundreds of team members and dozens of sub-teams, offshoots, and copycats. Called Earth's mightiest heroes for a reason, the Avengers assembled to protect the world from threats that were too great for any one hero to handle alone. Their roster includes a diverse array of champions, but everyone knows Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. This classic team-up gives us superhuman strength and advanced technology, but through the years with new members joining the team, they've also gained masters of magic and even cosmic abilities. While leadership has shifted over time, Captain America is widely recognized as the team's moral center and frequent leader, guiding the Avengers with his strategic mind and unwavering sense of justice. In addition to the power that they wield in-universe, they are also one of the most famous superhero teams in the real world thanks to the MCU. The team is a billion-dollar baby all on its own, and you can't really beat that.
Number 10. Gamma Corps. Not to be confused with Gamma Flight, the space program, or the other Gamma Flight Alpha Flight training team. The Gamma Corps are actually made up of various different Gamma mutates, who basically were initially brought together to be used in hunting down the Hulk, believing him to be responsible for their fates and their mutations. They later learned, however, the truth and ended up turning on the Illuminati as a result. Team members included General Riker, their initial leader, Timothy Wilkerson, known as Prodigy, Gray, Griffin, Mr. Gideon, and Mess. While they were rescued by the Hulk from a Hulk AI and later depowered, I would say that at their height they could stand a chance against a more classic Avengers roster. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, why not show us you love us by giving us a thumbs up? Number 9. Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts might not be as good at teamwork in some cases, but they are definitely more interesting than the Avengers when it comes to their story, and despite being initially made up secretly of a group of villains led by Baron Zemo, the public even came to accept them as heroes. Over the years, their lineup has changed dramatically, and currently they are actually more of a mishmash of like less heroic folks and more heroic folks, although the fact remains that the Thunderbolts has always remained a more heroic, at least at heart, or at least anti-hero based team. One of their current members also happens to be Spectrum, aka Monica Rambeau, who is known for packing a punch. Number 8. Titans 3. Titans 3 is a group that is similar but different to another one I had on part 1 of my list. It is basically the Defenders, sort of, but also may predate the Defenders, I believe, in terms of their appearance. The Titans 3 only appeared in a couple of issues of Submariner back in the 70s, making their first appearance in issue number 34 and their last in issue number 35. This team was led by Namor the Submariner and was brought together to save the world, as many great superhero teams have been brought together in the past. Joining Namor were the Hulk and the Silver Surfer, so no Doctor Strange here, but still a very powerful team I think, even with only 3 of them. Number 7. Star Masters. Probably not a team you get to hear about often, I'd think, on YouTube, so let me get you up to speed here. Star Masters were brought together by the accusation that Quasar was guilty of murder, having believed to have massacred basically a bunch of people on a starship. Those that made up the team were the ones who believed him to be innocent. I also just love Wendell Vaughn and feel like we don't really get to talk about him too much on the channel for how powerful he is. Probably because Wendell, aka Quasar, isn't super prominent in the comics anymore these days, especially not Wendell as Quasar, because now we also have Avril. However, Wendell has appeared in the Guardians of the Galaxy series in recent years. While Quasar was obviously on the team, so was Beta Ray Bill, Silver Surfer, Morphex, and Zenith. After Quasar was proven innocent, the team became more focused on maintaining peace throughout the cosmos, basically like OP cosmic peacekeepers, which I also just love as a team idea. Number 6. Transformers. Well, it's weird to think of the Transformers as a Marvel team, since, you know, they are with Hasbro. Marvel also happens to be the place where they kinda got their comic book start. And recently, IDW did lose the rights to the comics for Transformers. Although it's lucky for Marvel, and I do love their work, it is a little sad because I was also actually interested in the IDW Transformers stuff, which I guess I could go back and read. Or well, I guess they can't reprint it, so I'd have to find old stuff. Oh well. I'm sure there's still lots of awesome stuff in store in the future for Transformers comics, no matter who the rights belong to, because they're just a really cool property. And either Either way, the team will remain unstoppable. I'm still waiting for an Avengers vs Transformers event, so hopefully that is something we could also see in the future. Number 5. Multiversal Masters of Evil. The Multiversal Masters of Evil were actually powerful enough to defeat the Avengers. So this one, actually the proof is in the pudding in this case. The Multiversal Masters of Evil were actually powerful enough to defeat the Avengers, or rather the Avengers of 1 million BC, aka the prehistoric Avengers, but still, even when they went back in the day, the first Avengers were still some of the most powerful people on or off the planet of Earth. So I feel like that's still really impressive. I know before, in part 1, some people in the comments wanted to know which Avengers team we were comparing these other teams to. We're like, how can you compare them if you're not telling us the parameters, Amanda? Well, you know, I don't really have a lot of time to go through the parameters, but what I will say is I'm more thinking of these teams in comparisons generally speaking. So, meaning any and all versions of the team can really be contrasted to each other. No specific parameters per se, although I am leaning more towards like classic Avengers, I guess when I'm thinking of it. These are more teams that would just be considered more powerful than at least one of the Avengers rosters. And we already know the Multiversal Masters of Evil succeeded there because they already beat the prehistoric Avengers. The Multiversal Masters of Evil are different from the standard team, and they actually include Doom Supreme, King Killmonger, Black Skull, Dark Phoenix, Ghost Goblin, and Kid Thanos. Number 4. Squadron Supreme. Squadron Supreme is kind of like Marvel's version of the Justice League. And I know what you're thinking, but wait a minute, Amanda. I thought the Avengers was like Marvel's version of the Justice League. Well, yes and no. The Avengers team doesn't really have powerhouses in the same way as the Justice League does, and Squadron Supreme kinda does that a little bit better than the Avengers does, if we're comparing. Marvel even went so far as to rename the alternate reality version of them that also appeared in 2021's Heroes Reborn event the Squadron Supreme of America. Get it? Like the Justice League of America. Their ranks typically include Nighthawk, Dr. Spectrum, Blur, Hyperion, and Warrior Woman or Princess Power, whatever name she's going by, aka Zarda Shelton. She goes by both depending on which version of her we're talking about. Number 3. The Hellfire Club. The Hellfire Club might not be one of the first picks you have when you think of a team that can take on and defeat the Avengers, but you know me, I'm always thinking about mutants and mutant teams. And it is important to note that before the Phoenix became a member of the Avengers team, and before the Phoenix Force was retconned to be a part of Thor's origins, it was well known for its attachment to the X-Men, and specifically one mutant in particular who was a member, Jean Grey, aka Marvel Girl. In fact, the Phoenix Force is an entity that was created by Chris Claremont and Dave Cockrum. And one of the first places where the Phoenix Force became fully unhinged was during the Phoenix's time at the Hellfire Club. The Hellfire Club was once a well-known villainous organization that was committed to using wealth and influence to manipulate and eventually conquer the world, sort of. Currently, the organization has been rebranded though, and presents as being a business that leans more towards heroic pursuits, but still often profitable pursuits. Number 2. Nova Corps. When you think about it, the Nova Corps, despite having been destroyed by the Universal Church of Truth, is probably one of the most powerful organizations or groups likely in the universe. Originally, they were known as Xandar's Line of Defense, but as they grew, they ended up expanding the area under their protection, eventually extending to the whole of the Andromeda Galaxy, and I mean at least part of the Milky Way, as Earth also fell under their jurisdiction, where they, decided to take it under their wing. And while yes, as of Annihilation Scourge, they may be gone right now, with only Richard Rider as Nova surviving, it's more than likely that we will eventually see them return in the comics at some point. And usually when we do, they're just really powerful, so we should acknowledge that. Number 1. Elders of the Universe. The Elders of the Universe are some of the oldest beings to exist out in the universe. In fact, they are so old that in some cases their origins remain a mystery to us to this day, lost to time. They don't always work together, preferring sometimes to kind of do their own thing, but when they do end up joining forces for anything, they're also pretty unstoppable. They have worked together to take on Galactus and were for a while holders of the Infinity Stones back when they were known as the Infinity Gems in the comics. And in fact, I feel like if they came together to protect those, maybe Thanos would have never taken them? I don't know. Among the Elders of the Universe are the Challenger, the Champion Trico Slatterus, Ego, the Living Planet, the In-Between, the Collector, the Grand Master, the Profiteer, and Lady Karina Korvac, the wife of one of the Avengers' greatest enemies, Korvac. There's also a lot more of them out there than we know, which means means if they were to all assemble, it would likely be a scary time for just about everyone else in the Marvel Universe. Number 10, Alpha Flight. This might be a controversial way to start off this list, but I truly do believe that Alpha Flight can be more powerful than the Avengers team, especially if we're talking about consistent teamwork, which the Avengers members sometimes struggle with due to, well, butting heads with each other. I mean, people on the Avengers have straight up killed their other teammates before. That is just a fact. I mean, I did a whole list about the amount of times Iron Man has been basically killed by his teammates, and after talking it over with Andrew, it seems like Alpha Flight also has a better system in place for making sure their team not only works smoothly, but also that members are well trained before even earning their place on the team due to the existence of both Beta Flight and Gamma Flight, which were initially used as training teams. Although Gamma Flight has kind of become something else in recent years, but yes. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, why not show us you love us by giving this video a little like? Click that thumbs up. Number 9, Midnight Suns. Midnight Suns is basically Marvel's main magical team. At least currently that's who we got. Midnight Suns typically deal with threats that are more mystical or supernatural in nature. They were brought together initially by Doctor Strange to fight against Lilith and her small army of demonic offspring known as the Lilin, which, I mean, of course this team would be brought together by Doctor Strange, right? Each member of the original team roster had interacted with the Lilin before, which was what tied them all together. Team members and leaders have included Doctor Strange, Wong, Blade, Morbius, Magic, Nico Minoru, Wolverine, Zoe Laveau, Kushala, Dr. Voodoo, Elsa Bloodstone, multiple Ghost Riders, Hannibal King, Hellstrom, Iron Fist, Man-Thing, Jennifer Kale, Ben Reilly, Victoria Montesi, and Werewolf by Night. It's a lot of supernatural and mystical people. Number 8, Web Warriors. The Web Warriors are a fantastic multiversal team that spun out of the events of Spider-Verse. But even before they existed in the comics, they and the Spider-Verse were inspired by the team-ups of multiversal Spider-Man in the 90s Spider-Man animated series. The Web Warriors were brought together by the multiversal threat of the Inheritors, who hunted down various alternate Spider people, known as Spider Totems, across the Marvel multiverse. After they were defeated during the Spider-Verse event and the dust had settled, the Web Warriors were created to defend those worlds, who were left afterwards without a hero. Considering how powerful Peter Parker's Spider-Man is, I think you can understand how a team made up of various alternate versions of the character would be off the charts when it comes to their power level. I mean, Spider-Man himself is pretty crazy, like a team of Spider-Men. I wish we had an Avengers team that was actually just like different Spider people. That could be pretty cool. Number 7, Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four, despite being often smaller in number, though they have expanded beyond that number over the years, is still mightier, I'd say, than the Avengers. But I also feel like that's to be expected. After all, the FF were one of the first Marvel teams and are referred to fondly as Marvel's first family. So if anything, I consider them kind of like the first team. The Fantastic Four usually is made up of the 4 initial friends and relatives who are forever changed by exposure to cosmic rays during their first voyage out into space. At least that's the original origin story. The team has had countless heroes join their ranks here and there over the years. Well, you know Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and The Thing. Some other members on the FF roster have included the Hulk, Wolverine, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, Storm, She-Hulk, Nova, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, Crystal, and Black Panther, among others. Number 6, The Quiet Council. They aren't really a team of superheroes, but the title of this video is simply Marvel Teams More Powerful Than the Avengers, and The Quiet Council, I would consider them to be a team still. They're a team of folks in the Marvel Universe. Granted, their team is more about protecting their power and their nation of Krakoa, but hey, I think it still counts. The Krakoan Quiet Council as such is composed of not just mutant superheroes, but mutant villains as well, as Krakoa is said to be a place for all mutants, where past misdeeds are forgiven in the name of creating a better tomorrow and a safe haven for all mutants. Current members include some of the most prominent, iconic, and powerful mutants in all of existence: Destiny, Hope Summers, Storm, Exodus, Professor X, Emma Frost, Mr. Sinister, Captain Kate Pryde, Mystique, and Sebastian Shaw. Formerly, the Council also featured such additional powerhouses as Apocalypse, Magneto, and Jean Grey, besides. Number 5, X-Men. I mean, Of course I was going to put the X-Men on this list. Y'all know me, I'm a huge mutant fan. And the premier mutant team in the comics, of course, is the X-Men. I've also loved that over the years the X-Men has become more of a global team than just necessarily an American one. Unlike the Avengers, which has tended to remain mostly American in terms of their prominent team members throughout the years. I mean, most of the people on the Avengers tend to be American, not always, but I feel like the X-Men is a little bit more global in that regard. Although they do also have a lot of American members. I mean, based in New York. It's Marvel Comics. X-Men's current and previous lineup have also been exceptionally strong, and even the OG X-Men roster featured some mutants who are still considered the most powerful even today, and who are still around, of course, in the comics even today. The current roster features Cyclops, Firestar, Forge, Iceman, Havoc, Magic, Jean Grey, aka Marvel Girl, and Synch. Honestly, Synch is also alone just so amazing, and has taken the meaning of teamwork to another level, I think. Synch. Such an underrated character that now is getting his time in the spotlight. Number 4. Eternals. The Eternals are another team that deserve more love when it comes to the comics and when it comes to their powers. They're a team made up of literal immortal beings who are extremely resistant to dying, but up until recently anyways, even if they did die, they would actually quickly return to life thanks to the machine which rebuilds and resurrects them and is integrated, or was integrated, with the planet Earth, which is actually itself a living mechanism of sorts. The Eternals recently had a killer comic series written by Kieran Gillen that I would also highly recommend you check out. This is a series that will make you a fan if you weren't already. The Eternals all also possess a unique power comparable to a powerful ability of mutant villain Apocalypse. They can manipulate and alter their own molecular structure, having complete control of it. And some, like Circe, can even manipulate matter in general, be it organic or inorganic. Number 3. God Squad. The God Squad was brought together to combat another group of gods, the Skrull Pantheon. The team made their first appearance in Incredible Hercules issue 117, but while Hercules would become their leader, they were actually brought together by Athena's command. Although she didn't serve on the team, a bunch of other super powerful individuals and gods did. With Hercules leading, their roster over time also included Thor, Circe, the Silver Surfer, Ajax, Amadeus Cho, Snowbird, Mikaboshi, Adam, Galactus, and Venus. The God Squad only made a few appearances, but I still think they're a super cool team, and I'm still disappointed we didn't get to see them in Thor Love and Thunder. I was kinda hoping. God Squad, but alas. Number 2. The Annihilators. The Annihilators are an insane cosmic team, and you know how I feel about the cosmic world of Marvel. It's probably one of the most powerful areas. The Annihilators first appeared in Thanos Imperative Devastation issue number 1, and were created by Dan Abnett, Andy Lanning, and Miguel Sepulveda, during a time when the Guardians were getting a refresh by Abnett and Lanning in the comics. The team was actually inspired by Star-Lord himself, who had an idea for a truly badass team of galactic guardians, which Cosmo put into action. The team has featured Beta Ray Bill, Silver Surfer, Gladiator, Icon, Quasar, and Ronan the Accuser. At one point they used their powers to combine two suns together and prevented them from going supernova. So yeah, that's the power level that we're talking about. Number 1. The Defenders. I feel like the Defenders is a team that is often forgotten, but is randomly like one of the best superhero teams we've ever seen from Marvel. Perhaps this also has to do with the fact that none of its members ever really wanted to join or be there, at least not initially. The Defenders was the name given initially to the reluctant team up of the Hulk, Namor, and Doctor Strange, with Strange acting as the de facto leader of the team. Also, just having Doctor Strange as the leader of any team makes it pretty impressive, hence why the Midnight Suns are also on here. When it comes to Avengers teams, he tends to be more elusive, and even solo, he's known for being a powerhouse, so combine him with other powerhouses on a team, albeit ones, you know, in different categories like the Hulk and Namor, and you can see how this team becomes seemingly unstoppable. In fact, I feel like the fact that each of these heroes, you know, kind of has their own thing going on is what makes the Defenders so great. And they've also had a lot of other people join them throughout the years that have also been insane. As long as they all happen to be working together, the Defenders is a pretty great team, which of course, especially in the beginning, wasn't always the case.